Hey, my name is Lizzie and I am a 17-year-old high school student. I am about to tell you a really creepy story about how I got locked in a boys' locker room and found things I never should have seen. I had a crush on this boy named Brian, and I was literally obsessed with him. I joined every single one of his classes on purpose so that he would notice me. The last week of school, I finally got the courage to write a letter and give it to him. But when I turned the corner to where his locker was, I saw him talking to Stephanie. At first, I was hopeful, but the next day I saw them walking to class together. That's when I knew she stole him from me. For hours, I thought about all the things I could do to get him back and what I could do better than her, but I didn't know much about her, so I decided to investigate. I decided to follow her after the first class to see where her locker was, but instead of going to her locker, she walked down to the gym and straight into the boys' locker room. This was really weird, but when I saw both Brian and Stephanie walk out, I knew exactly what was going on. I decided to follow her the rest of the day, but she didn't do anything out of the ordinary except take a few phone calls here and there. After school, I decided to follow her to see where she went. And trust me, I didn't think I was capable of being a stalker, but I'm a pretty good one. To my surprise, after her last class, she started walking to the boys' locker room again. This time, I decided to follow her in and see exactly what she was doing in there. I've never been in a boys' locker room, so I had to stay on her tail to not get lost. We walked right past the boys showering, through the equipment room, right into the locker rooms. That is when I lost Stephanie. She literally disappeared right when we got into the last locker room. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I spotted Brian's locker. I decided to go check it out and see what he had in there. Right when I opened the locker, I felt a strong push and fell in. I heard the locker slam shut behind me. I immediately turned around to see who pushed me, and there she was. Stephanie, standing on the other side of the locker with a smirk on her face. She said, "I knew you were following me this whole time. You're so screwed." I was so shocked that I couldn't say anything back. Then I saw Brian walk in, only wearing a towel. He looked so hot. I heard Stephanie whisper to him, "She's in the locker." He started walking over to his locker, and I thought to myself, thank God he's saving me. He opened the locker and threw his towel on my head and slammed the locker shut once more. I was in shock, not only that his towel was on my face, but I was locked in his locker with no way out. Both of them started laughing and left the locker room. I started yelling and banging on the locker so someone would hopefully hear me and get me out, but no one came. I sat there for hours. It started getting cold. All I had was Brian's stupid towel to keep me warm. To pass time, I started looking through his things. I found his journal, and when I opened it and saw what he had in there, I almost fainted. All over the book were pictures of me, in class, at home, sleeping, and even changing. Out of nowhere, I heard someone walking down the hallway. I got really scared because I thought it was Brian and he was coming to get me, but to my surprise, it was the janitor coming to clean the locker room. I started screaming for him to let me out. After we told the police what happened, we later found out that Brian and Stephanie were going to get me later that night and kidnap me. How could I have had a crush on a kidnapper? Let's just say I go for the good boys now. Just wanted to tell my tale. Thanks for listening.